Football on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by the new BoyleSports app. Bet €10 and get a free Now TV Sports mobile month pass, showing exclusive darts and Premier League action.
Welcome along to the Friday Betting Show. What a disastrous start. It's streaming across Twitter, Facebook and YouTube. I was trying to get into the Christmas spirit there with the little elf on my shoulder, but he's obviously camera shy and decided to take a dive, a bit like Cristiano Ronaldo in the penalty area. But today I'm joined in studio by Stephen Doyle and Raf Diallo, and Leon Blanche from BoyleSports is on the line. So over the next half an hour, we will be looking ahead to the weekend's action, the final weekend before Christmas. We've got three €50 credits to give away across our social media accounts, so Twitter, Facebook and YouTube. If you want to get in touch across those social channels over the next half an hour, the best comments will be in with a chance of winning those prizes. And remember, it's all with thanks to BoyleSports, and always remember as well to gamble responsibly and only bet what you can afford. We're going to look at the BoyleSports offers this week. We'll be able to get them up on screen for you now. And this is, if you bet €10, by the way, you'll get €50 on offtheball.com/BoyleSports for the new customers. And Leon Blanche, our offers this week, the treble offer is one that interests me there. Chelsea, Manchester United and Manchester City to win. It was 6-4, now 5-2, Leon.
Yeah, look, I think that's a very, very decent enhancement, Phil. And I think obviously Manchester United, it kills me to say it, but I'm sure there's going to be a reaction from some of these players. They just down tools from Mourinho, but I've no doubt in my mind we'll see players putting in tackles, we'll see them chasing back, we'll see a bit of appetite that they should have always had. I think there is certainty to beat Cardiff, and I think the other two sides should oblige. So 5-2 about that treble is a very, very decent enhancement.
Yeah, Chelsea at home to Leicester, Manchester City at home to Crystal Palace. Then the Liverpool offer, obviously Liverpool played tonight to score 2 or more goals. It was 7-4. It's now 5-2, Leon. This is a game that a lot of people think is going to be a tricky one for Liverpool just because of Wolves' record against the top 6 this season.
Yeah, like myself included, Phil. I think Wolves, after a little bit shaky patch, they've been in tremendous form. I think they've won their last 3. They play a very expansive brand of football. I think it'll be a great game to watch this evening. But Liverpool, of course, they scored 3 against United. They scored 4 against Bournemouth. And since that kind of lucky victory, and it was a lucky victory in the Merseyside derby, they were very lucky, I think, even to get a draw in that game. But they came away with all 3 points. And they've scored 7 in the 2 games since then. So Liverpool can score, Wolves can score. Really looking forward to that game tonight.
Yeah, great time of the year as well. The football keeps coming thick and fast over the next few days. Okay, let's look at last week's bets. We wanted to earn a few quid before Christmas. We're going to start with your bet, Raf.
Didn't quite work out.
Didn't quite work out. You
had
Huddersfield and Newcastle, a 0-0 draw. Obviously, Newcastle got the win, 1-0. Great goal, actually. Nice move from Newcastle. So that was your 11-2 shot gone. But still wasn't the most exciting game. Ronan's bet. Ronan's not here. Everton, Manchester City. He had a draw. City started well. Everton, when they got back to 2-1, you thought, it's not going to happen, is it?
Yeah, Man City at home, Everton on the road. Yeah, I would have found that difficult for Everton to get points there.
Yeah. Kev's treble. Would you believe it? It came in. We got a winner.
Oh my God.
He was in great form.
He was, yeah. Now there's a few rumours that he mightn't have picked this one himself. He has a consultant, an advisor. But Watford, Tottenham and Liverpool all won, and that was 3-1 that he got that in. And I know he obviously would have had Watford and Tottenham results in the bag, and he was at Anfield last week to see Liverpool beat Manchester United. So that came in. Well done to Kev. That was a long time coming.
Oh, fair play to him, Phil. Yeah. 1 out of 1,000. He's done well, the killer. He's done well.
Well, especially I think Watford as well, because they've been so iffy over the last few weeks. Yeah. It was a great call to get them last week. Definitely.
Got off to a great start. That goal from Delafeu was class. Leon, your bet, you went for Watford and Fulham to win. So you would have been sitting there at 5:30 last Saturday thinking, right, Watford are in. Now let's see what Fulham can do against West Ham. But
yeah, Phil, I was disappointed with Fulham. To be fair, they were at home. They never really lifted a leg, and I thought, like with Ranieri, he's only there a wet day, and it just didn't seem at any stage. I watched the game, and I never felt at any point that Fulham were going to get anything from the game. West Ham were in cruise control. And fair play to Pellegrini. I think we need to give him a good shout out. He's really got West Ham playing extremely well at the moment, and they've got a big chance of making it. Is it 5 in a row this weekend? So fair play to West Ham. They're going well at the moment.
Yeah, they lost their first 4 games. Everyone thought, oh no, is he leading the sack race? My bet, I went for Liverpool and Manchester United to draw. Now, as dreadful as Manchester United are, it was 1-1, and Liverpool were taking shots from 30 yards out, and I thought, this is going to end in a draw.
Yeah.
And then Shaqiri obviously comes up with the couple of deflected efforts.
It's kind of hard for me to kind of mention this game because, I'm kind of speaking with the results now in the bag, but I just had a feeling for Liverpool last week. I just thought United, they've gone so stale under Mourinho, and I know that he was getting results going to big teams maybe last season, but I just thought that it all worn off, and I just think Liverpool needed to make a statement last weekend. They really did it.
And it just shows the depth they have now. You can throw Shaqiri on, which wasn't an option last season, so you were kind of running through the same tree. Obviously a great forward line, but if that wasn't working out, where were you going next?
Yeah, they had a plan B. Okay, well look, it's Manchester United. We'll start with Leon. We'll start looking ahead to this weekend's games now. Okay, so we mentioned Liverpool are in action, but I suppose, Leon, there's only one place to start. Manchester United, Jose Mourinho gone. We were in the office here on Tuesday morning. It was 10 to 10, and the news broke. And it certainly perked us up to that's one way of putting it. It perked us up, but it certainly has perked up United fans. Their Christmas has come early because it was just going nowhere with Jose Mourinho.
No, it was going nowhere fast, Phil, and I think they've done the right thing in terms of getting rid of Mourinho. He'd obviously lost the dressing room quite some time ago, to be fair. And a club of that size, I still don't think they're going to make top 4 because what are they, 11 points off at the minute? Yeah. I wouldn't have went for Solskjaer either. I don't know where that appointment has come from because he was dreadful with Cardiff. He hasn't done much since then, and it's a big risk to even give him the job until the end of the season. However, I do see them responding tomorrow night. I see the likes of Pogba, who has been an absolute disgrace, in my opinion. He hasn't lifted a leg for Mourinho. It doesn't matter if you don't get on with your coach. You're wearing a shirt, you're being paid a lot of money to do so, and you've got fans who are paying good money to come and watch you. And to watch some of his performances has been nothing short of embarrassing. But I do think they'll go to Cardiff. I do think they'll beat Cardiff because the likes of Pogba and some of the other players who have been sulking, they'll now say it was all Mourinho's fault. They'll put all the blame at him. They'll probably beat Cardiff by 3-1, maybe even 4-1. They'll be loving it. They'll be celebrating in front of the fans. And everyone will think, oh my God, it's all Mourinho, which it's clearly not. But they'll beat Cardiff, and I think they'll beat them quite comfortably, lads.
Yeah, Stephen, as well, the timing of it, the fixtures. You look at the fixtures that they have, they've obviously got Cardiff, they have Huddersfield, they've Bournemouth, they've Newcastle, and then Reading. Yeah. It's the perfect time for a new manager to come in. You could easily see United winning those 5 games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, because we were on the Keith Andrews show yesterday kind of discussing this issue, I think that, obviously Mourinho lost a lot of the players. They weren't playing for him. I think now a lot of those players will now want to go out and prove a point and actually kind of get a result to kind of nearly prove Mourinho wrong. And I think as well, because Solskjaer is there, they'll all want to impress the new manager. So I think Solskjaer is kind of in a really ideal situation now where all these players are going to be up for it. He's got the whole squad behind him. I think tomorrow, I'd actually worry I know Cardiff can make it really tough for teams when they go to the Cardiff City Stadium, but I think with all the quality in that United squad, they're going to go out and they're going to put on a big performance. I actually think they could beat Cardiff heavily tomorrow. I think it'll be 3-1, as Leon said, or maybe even 4-1.
Raf, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is this what they call a free hit from?
on paper it looks like it. I wouldn't be quite sure.
I'm just talking about the job, not even the game.
Yeah, no, in terms of like he has nothing to lose here. I mean, he's going back to Malta, isn't he, after this comes to an end. And you know, he has a limited time to do whatever he needs to do, so it's just trying to get that bounce. I'm not sure there will be a new manager bounce, given he's not like the permanent choice. You know what I mean? I know, as you said, some players have something to prove, but I'm not sure if that'll actually quite work out. And Cardiff is a very tough place to go as well. I mean, they've won their last 3 home games, and I think we were just talking to the office outside. Neil Warnock, this is the type of game where he can actually get his players up. Even though, like, on paper, there's nothing.
I wondered, is this good or bad for Cardiff? But it probably is good, because Warnock can say, right, lads, remember the way we slogged it out in the Championship? It's because of the manager in the other dressing room. He got you relegated. He's coming back here. Let's give him one hell of a game and welcome him back to the Premier League.
It sounds more powerful if you just do it in his voice, though.
Yeah, I didn't want to do a bad impression, because you have to throw in a few swear words as well.
Trust me, folks, Phil Egan does a brilliant Neil Warnock impression.
It was actually very, very good. But no, like, I mean, the way I expect United to line up anyway, Solskjaer's formation anyway at Molde, it's like an attacking 4-3-3. So I'm interested in who he will drop into that as well. I mean, it's probably going to be Pogba, probably one defensive, and then maybe somebody's able to play advance, so maybe he'll play a Lingard in there. But trying to attack at a place like Cardiff, probably the best way to go, given Cardiff are probably of a more defensive mindset. But at the same time, it's like it's like the old days when Sam Allardyce had his Bolton team at home. It's a tough place to go, so I would not be surprised if there is a surprise.
I tell you, there's going to be some crowd watching it. Leon, has there been much in terms of the betting for the next permanent manager? I presume Pochettino is probably top of the pile. That's the manager that all United fans seem to want.
Yeah, and I think probably, Phil, United, with the amount of money they have, the compensation to Spurs would be no problem. It's just whether Pochettino, I don't see United in the Champions League next year. So does he want to go, like if Spurs qualify for Champions League again, does he want to leave that competition and go to Old Trafford? Look, we've actually paid out on Solskjaer. Being obviously the next manager, we've reopened the book, and Pochettino, as you rightly said, he's right up at the front of it. There was a bit of a rumour, I was hearing it over here in Spain, that Laurent Blanc, who of course played for United, managed PSG, he's rumoured to be very interested in it as well. Look, I don't know, Phil. I think Solskjaer, you're probably right. And as the guys have said, he's got a free hit at the moment. If he does remarkably well and he really gets the players playing for him and they're quite happy with him, who's to say he won't be the permanent manager come the kick-off of next season? But I'm sure Manchester United fans would love Pochettino. He's the type of manager. He brings forward youth. The players seem to respect him. His teams play for him. And they play an attracting style of football as well, which is what Man United fans want. So Spurs fans won't be happy to hear that. But I think if United want that man, they can certainly persuade him with plenty of money.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I wonder how many more press conferences Pochettino's press officer is going to have to intervene. That seems like it's going to be an ongoing thing. Yeah,
look, you know, I wouldn't go too hard on the press officer. I know I did think it was a little bit, and I've been in those situations before where you're told by a press officer not to ask certain questions. But look, Pochettino's he's in his 40s. He's old enough to answer these questions himself. Yeah. If he doesn't want to talk about it, all he has to say is himself, look, lads, I've had enough of these questions. Let's move on. He can look after it himself. I thought it was a pretty overzealous press officer. But I do think, and I've seen Manchester United fans giving Pochettino stick over the fact that, okay, yeah, he gets results and he gets Spurs into the top 4, but he hasn't won anything. You know, so
this debate has been had over the last week, where Pochettino hasn't won trophies.
Yeah,
Mourinho, he'll tell you he won 3 trophies. Right, he won 2 trophies. The Community Shield isn't a trophy. It's something you'd put the tea on if you're bringing in the chocolate biscuits in. But he won a League Cup and a Europa League.
Yeah,
but I was comparing him to Klopp, say, for example. Like, who's done a better job?
Yeah,
like, everyone seems to be obsessed with
it depends whether you regard top 4 as success.
Yeah.
You know, and it is success to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, a club like Manchester United, they deal in trophies. Like Liverpool, like Real Madrid, like Barcelona, like all the best clubs, their currency is trophies. It's not getting top 4.
Yeah.
And Pochettino hasn't won anything. Now, I'm not saying he won't. He might do it with a better squad and more resources at Old Trafford. He could do, yeah. Look, you wouldn't write them off in the Champions League. I think Dortmund will give him if they can get past them, they've every chance. But yeah, look, I remain to be convinced on Pochettino. He might prove me wrong at the end of the season or if he goes to Old Trafford, but I'll always say, unless you've won a trophy, you're not a great manager.
Whew. What do you think, Raf?
Well, you do, and I think I heard it on the news round actually earlier in the week. You do see certain managers who are talked up. Now, he has actually proven it in a different way, not by winning trophies, but by actually taking Tottenham from being kind of an also-ran. You look at their wage bill, I think they've the 6th highest, and they're consistently in the top 4. But take trophies out of the equation. Like you see managers like AVB who are highly rated. I mean, he won a Europa League with Porto, and you look where he is now. Sometimes
driving a car somewhere.
Yeah, driving a car between Dakar and Paris or whatever, But it doesn't necessarily mean like a manager star will shine for a certain amount of time. Doesn't mean it's going to be something that's going to go on for a long time. And also the structure around you might work. So Pochettino's worked out at Southampton and Tottenham. Doesn't necessarily mean Manchester United's the right place to be. Especially they're trying to build something different here. Bring in a director of football. We don't know what that's going to necessarily look like and whether he suits that and whether he actually ends up liking what's in and around him.
Okay, before we move on from this game, Leon, obviously I'd say there's been a lot of money put on United to win this just because Mourinho's gone. Yeah,
look, Phil, they're actually just come in a slight bit. They were backed initially 4-6 to 4-7. They're now just right in the middle. They're 8-13. I mean, Cardiff, as Raf said, they've won their last 3 at home. They're a 9-2 chance. And the draw is 3-1. But I agree with Steve-O on this one. I just see United making a point here. Like, let's not be hitting around the bush here. They've got some serious players. Yeah. If they play to their full potential, they'll absolutely annihilate Cardiff. Cardiff wouldn't even be able to live with them. And I just think this game, it'll be like saying to Mourinho, that's what we could have done for you if we had liked you. And I think they'll beat Cardiff. I don't agree with the players doing that, Phil. I'm totally against it. But it seems to happen with Mourinho quite often. Chelsea down tools on him, Real Madrid down tools on him, and United certainly down tools on him. So maybe he's a big part to play in terms of what's happened.
Okay, right. Wolves, Liverpool tonight, 8 o'clock. Liverpool unbeaten. Everything's going great, Steve-O, and then Doyle Lovren opens his mouth. Joe, something that was just, it's a brilliant news, as a news reporter, it's a brilliant news line. I thought, this is fantastic. If I'm a Wolves player and I hear Doyle Lovren mouthing out of him on a Thursday before the big game that they can go the season unbeaten, he's talking about replicating the Arsenal Invincibles back in 03-04. Like, talk about that stuff maybe in the last couple of weeks of the season when the title's in the bag, whatever. But when you're not even at the midway point and you're coming out with this kind of stuff, it's I would like to think that Klopp had a serious word in his ear after this, because I think he's after hexing Liverpool. We've had a couple of weeks where we thought this could be a dodgy game against them. Watford was one, I remember, a few weeks back. But I was watching them against the Bournemouth game. I think I found most interesting because I suppose they're on the same kind of level as Wolves. I think Bournemouth, they had them at home. They showed Liverpool far too much respect. Bournemouth are a high pressing team. They like to get stuck into the opposition and use their pace and press up high. But they just stood off Liverpool and gave them too much respect. Liverpool midfield and the three attackers, I should say, they just had so much space to run at Bournemouth. And Wolves have to try and avoid falling into that trap. I think Conor Cody is key as well. Big Liverpool fan. Yeah. His whole life. He's going to go out there, and he's been brilliant already this season. He's going to want to put on the performance of a lifetime. So look, on paper, Liverpool should win this, and my head says Liverpool will win, but there's just something in there after Lovren coming out like that. And I think if Wolves take a lesson from what Bournemouth did wrong in that game, they have every chance of getting something out of this. Yeah, Raf, they have a great record against the top 6. Only Spurs have beaten them.
Yeah, only Spurs have beaten them. And then
they've obviously drew with City. The way they played against City was they were quite happy to be a bit more defensive, but their counter-attacking football was brilliant. When they got the ball, they used it well, whereas you see teams against top teams, when they get the ball, they can't hold on to it. Wolves didn't have that problem when they played against City.
No, and I think they used set pieces in that game, if I remember well, to good effect as well. The only thing, as you're kind of saying, you do feel like Liverpool are probably going to edge it in some way, because they seem to have been doing it all season. But also away from home, I think it kind of suits them a little bit, because Mane's pace. I mean, if you know, the likes of Wolves push forward slightly, you're opening up space behind, which he can run into. Firmino's great at opening up space as well. Salah's a great finisher. It's what's worked for Liverpool for the last while, and I think in the last 3 games they've scored at least 3 goals away from home in each of their last 3 away games. So I would always look at it as something that suits them. But as you're saying with Wolves, I mean, they're on a really good run. I think for the first time since the 1980s, they've won 3 games in a row in the league, which is very, very impressive. Of course, our own Matt Doherty's in there, still nicking goals.
Wearing his gloves.
Wearing his gloves as well. Nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not. No, Martin O'Neill didn't like it, but nothing wrong with it. Leon, what a chance this is for Liverpool to ensure they finish, or they will be top of the league at Christmas. And it's a bit like the UK number 1. You know, everyone wants it. Everyone wants to be top at Christmas.
Look, you wouldn't be happy with Lovren. But look, I mean, this is the same guy who said he was the best defender in the world. So look, he's prone to it. Somehow I think being the 4th choice now at Liverpool, because I think he definitely is behind, obviously, Van Dijk, he's behind Gomez, and I also think he's behind Matip. So he's coming out and saying silly things, but he's got to do it on the pitch. He's got a big chance now, because the other 2 lads are injured until definitely after the Man City game, and maybe a bit more. So he's got Arsenal at home, Newcastle at home, City away. But Liverpool, it'd be good, Phil, if they could win away from home. They seem to be getting the job done. But the player I've been most impressed with out of all Liverpool is Fabinho. And I just think for a player that came in for big money, and people were questioning him, he had a couple of iffy performances, maybe the first half away against Arsenal. But the way he dominated that game on Sunday against Manchester United, he's actually an all-round centre midfielder. He can go forward, he can go back, he can make a tackle, he can make a pass. I think Klopp has really found a player here. And I think the centre midfield is going to be built around Fabinho in times to come. And he's just got such a presence that I think he gives a lot of confidence to the players around him. I'd be surprised if Liverpool can't win this, Phil, totally. They're 6-10 to do so, a little bit better than 1-2. Wolves are good. It'll be a test for them. I think they will sit back like they did against City. They are quite quick on the break as well. I'm fascinated to see Doherty up against Robertson. I think that's going to be one hell of a battle down the left hand or else the right hand side, whatever way you want to look at it. 2 great players. Both Doherty and Robertson are excellent in their respective positions. And I'm really looking forward to tonight's game. I think both teams will score, but I think Liverpool will just edge it.
Great start for you, Leon. You're gonna like and dislike this one at the same time. 8 of the last 11 Christmas Day table toppers have gone on to win the Premier League, and the last 4 have all become champions. But the last team to fail, from that position was
Liverpool.
Liverpool 13-14.
They slipped up that year, didn't they?
Under Mr. Rodgers, I've no doubt about that. Look, I was actually worried, Steve-O, thinking about it, like Liverpool, United. They also have Arsenal. They've also got City. They've got Wolves away and Newcastle at home, where Gomez is missing. I'm a huge fan of Gomez, and I just think I was really worried. But I just feel at the minute, Lovren can still make a huge mistake. We all know that. But the key is Van Dijk beside him. Van Dijk is talking to him. You see the United game. He's talking to him nearly the entire game, telling him where to be, what to do. And I think when you look back at the fabulous Paul McGrath, when anyone played beside him, he made them look 10 times better than they actually were. And I think the same can be made about if you play beside Van Dijk. He's so good. I just think with him, if he stays fit, I think Liverpool have got a real chance. I still think City will win the league, Steve-O, because they've got a better squad. But it'd be good for the Premier League if we can keep it going until at least March or even April. Someone stick with City. And the other sides behind them, the likes of Spurs, big win for them. Late goal, obviously, at Wembley. Won again. Chelsea, they've got to stick in there. They mightn't win the league, but they've got to try and hang on to the coattails of the top 2 to keep everybody interested.
Yeah, just the point on Fabinho, actually, I just wanted to bring up as well. I mean, Klopp took his time bringing him in, and this seems to be a pattern that seems to work, because you brought up Robertson as well. That was a player...
Yeah. Maybe United are doing that with Fred.
Maybe. But there was I remember there was calls for Robinson to be brought in, and Klopp waited. I mean, he kept playing Moreno, which of course is
infuriated Liverpool fans.
Which infuriated them and didn't necessarily work out. But it seems to be something he's doing. He's doing it with Keita, although Keita has had the odd injury as well. But he's actually been very patient in terms of bringing these guys in, getting them to know the system, and then it seems to work out over time.
Okay, we're going to rattle through the next few games. Manchester City obviously in action tomorrow at 3 o'clock and at home to Crystal Palace. 9 out of 9 they've won, Steve-O. It's going to be 10, isn't it?
Yeah, and absolutely. Like I wouldn't even spend too much time talking about it because Palace are just... like they don't have a goal scorer for a start. The ones that they do have aren't very good and they're injured.
Yeah.
And you know, they're obviously depending on Zaha being fit and Townsend being fit, but they're going to the Lions down here and they're going to get savaged.
Yeah, no, City, I think, again, just like Liverpool scoring at least 3 goals in each of their last 3 away games. At home, City have scored at least 3 goals in their last 5 home games. So
And De Bruyne back as well.
And De Bruyne back.
Yeah. Aguero's back.
Fit.
David Silva will be back soon.
Jesus has scored now as well.
Jesus actually started looking sharp. Leon, this is we're doing this game on Premier League Live tomorrow on Today FM, and when I'm sitting in the studio tomorrow, all I'm praying for is that Palace can just withstand the first 20 minutes and we actually have a game.
I think, Phil, your prayers will not be answered. I can definitely see City. Look, you're looking at the total goals. Over 3.5 is only 10 to 11.
Wow.
I mean, even over 4.5 goals is only 2 to 1. And as you and the guys have just said, De Bruyne coming back, Aguero on the bench. They're going to have David Silva back soon. Jesus, that will do him the world of good, getting those couple of goals, because he was struggling. He was missing chances that he was normally taking. He's not in the same class as Aguero, but confidence can do a lot for strikers. If you just believe you're going to score, more often than not you do. City to win easy, lads, by at least 2 or 3 goals.
It kind of has the look of a 5-1.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. So some decent games at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Obviously, Chelsea and Leicester. Chelsea obviously want to stay in touch. Leicester, I think... I don't know what the betting is on this now, Leon, but I think Mr. Puel is a shout for the next manager to get sacked. He really annoyed Leicester fans on Wednesday night or Tuesday night when he didn't pick a full team for the City game.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, I can see that, Phil, but I mean, they did get the penalties.
Yeah.
Even with a weak inside, I mean, they
some of the worst penalties you'll ever see.
Terrible penalties. But, you know, I mean, I suppose when you look at it, you do say, as a Leicester City fan, that was a chance, if you got by City, of winning something. They're not going to win anything else. So you can see where the fans are coming from. I have a little bit of sympathy for the manager trying to give some of his star players a bit of a rest ahead of a crazy schedule of games. But they're 10 to 1 to beat to beat Chelsea. Chelsea are 1 to 3. I mean, you see Hazard coming off the bench. It was the most luckiest goal you'll ever score, but you create your own luck.
Yeah.
Hazard was brilliant against Brighton in the first half. He basically won them the game. And what Chelsea do, like all Italian sides, of course, they're managed by Sarri. Once you go 2-0 up, you take the foot off the gas and you shut up shop. So Chelsea are never going to give you a 4 or 5-0 exciting game, but I can see a 2-0 win again for Chelsea. I fully expect them to beat Leicester. And I think Chelsea are a team at the minute. They're going very well in the Europa League. I wouldn't be surprised if they go all the way in that and qualify for the Champions League anyway. But as I said a little bit earlier, keep winning these games, keep hanging on to the coattails of City and Liverpool, and you just never know.
Yeah, just quickly one on Arsenal Burnley, lads. That's 3 o'clock tomorrow. The Arsenal run came to an end last weekend and they had chances against Spurs, but defensively, I know they've got injuries and they had suspensions as well last week. But yeah, I
know Holding was one of those injured. I don't think he was a big loss, to be honest, because I just think he's not a very good defender and doesn't work well in that system of the 3 at the back. You know, I think actually Sokratis, surprisingly, I didn't think he was going to be their better defender, but I think he actually has been. He's been pretty good. The thing with Arsenal at home is that we saw the last time against Huddersfield, they really struggled to win that match against Huddersfield. And I wonder if Sean Dyche might look at that and kind of see what Huddersfield did in that game, really keep it tight and grind Arsenal down and make it, as we know, they still haven't led at half time in a game yet this season, which is an incredible statistic.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think Look, I do think they should beat Burnley. Like, you know, Burnley on the road.
Burnley were very unlucky last week, Raf.
They were, yeah, very, very unlucky until that. Well, I mean, Tottenham did miss a few chances towards the end that I think Ali probably would have put one away at the far post, and then maybe they would have gone on 1-1, or well, more than the 1-0, 2-0. But yeah, Burnley, I mean, defensively they've been quite poor this season, which is very uncharacteristic. But I think now that like the Europa League is something that's long forgotten now, they have a bit of time on the training ground, they can actually work on those systems and just to shut up shop. Now the Emirates is a very tough place to go, and Burnley haven't had a good record there, so I would still tip Arsenal to do the job there. But maybe if they tweak their formation, because they've gone 3-5-2 a fair bit recently, and I don't know if that necessarily works in terms of having the playmakers to break down opposition teams like Burnley.
Yeah, Burnley went 3 at the back as well last week, or 5 at the back, right? You mentioned the word tips, right? We're going to go into this week's bets. We're going to start with your bet, Raf.
Cardiff to hold Manchester United.
Yeah, you like the old draws, don't you?
I do.
We should be able to get that up on screen there. There it is. Look, Cardiff, Manchester United, 14-5 the draw. And are you just thinking? I'm just
counting on Neil Warnock, the mixer indeed as well, and just the fact I don't expect as big a new manager bounce as would have been had there been a permanent manager appointed.
Okay, just watch out for those long throws from Cardiff. Every time they get one, the excitement builds. But that's an interesting one. Leon, your bet, you've gone for Southampton, Chelsea and Manchester United all to win. See it there, 5-1.
Yeah, 5-1. I'm keeping it a little bit safe enough, I feel, with Chelsea and United. I hear what Raf is saying, but I do feel United will have enough to see off Cardiff. And then I just looked for a team who have had a reaction, and no bigger reaction than beating Arsenal last week at home for new Southampton manager. And in Danny Ings, Phil, I've been saying this, and I know you've said it as well on the betting show, he scores goals. If you give Danny Ings chances, he scores. I think he's got 6 or 7, and he's missed a few games already. And that's 6 or 7 for a poor Southampton team. So I just saw Southampton in around the 6-4, 13-8 mark, and I thought that they would bring up the bet. And Huddersfield, although they play all right, they just don't score enough. Like Raf was unlucky last week when he went for the 0-0 against Newcastle. Newcastle probably had one move, which was the goal.
I was right about one of the nils, at least the Huddersfield side of it.
Yeah, I just think Southampton will have enough. I think even looking at their bench, when you can bring on even Charlie Austin, he's not a bad player to have on the bench for the last 20, 25 minutes, as we saw against Arsenal. He's another goal scorer. So I think Southampton have got more than Huddersfield, and I think hopefully they'll get me back to winning ways.
Okay, and we're going on to Stephen's bet now, and talk us through this one, Steve-o.
Yeah, I'm looking for back-to-back. So I missed last week, wasn't around. So going for back-to-back wins here. Anytime goal scorers. I'm with Leon on this. Danny Ings, he's got 3 in the last 3 games. He's got a brace, obviously, against Arsenal last week. He's going to score goals. I do expect Southampton to go to Huddersfield and win. Huddersfield missing Aaron Moy. He's a big loss for them. And I just, if Southampton score, Danny Ings is going to get at least one of those goals. And Mitrovic, he's gone back to Newcastle United. He's got to he doesn't like Rafa Benitez. He's going to want to go and make a point to Rafa Benitez. And I love Mitrovic. He's an absolute nutcase. I just think he's a brilliant finisher when he's on his day. And I just expect him to want to. He's going to want to go and rub it into all the black and whites up in the Gallowgate. And I fully expect Mitrovic to get one. So I just think the double there, it's just over 6-1, I think, for that altogether.
I've no problem if Mitrovic scores, Steve-o, but I hope he doesn't botch up my bet. I've gone for a double that includes Newcastle. I've gone for Newcastle to win at home to Fulham, and I've gone for Bournemouth to win at home to Brighton. I know Bournemouth are on a poor run of form, but Brighton are desperate away from home. No Shane Duffy. Callum Wilson is back for Bournemouth, and I just think Newcastle will get the job done against Fulham, because I'm actually starting to worry a little bit about Fulham. I thought they would have reacted a bit better under Claudio Ranieri.
The West Ham game is a big worry, given West Ham traditionally can be quite flaky, and I know they're on a great run, but I thought I would have expected a lot more, and they didn't really lay a glove on West Ham at all.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Leon, and I'm sure you're looking forward to enjoying the Christmas. A lot of football on over Christmas. A
lot of football, a lot of racing, Phil. It's a great time for sports fans for sure, and Maybe just a quick mention of the game on Sunday, Phil. Everton Spurs. I think that'll be a cracking game of football. Two very attacking sides, and I just like Everton at home at 21-10. I think they're probably overpriced. I know Spurs are going well, but anytime you get a team of Everton's capabilities over 2-1 at home, it just kind of gets my juices flowing. Let's say.
Yeah. Okay, we'll leave it there. Leon, thanks a million. Have a great Christmas. And we'll
happy Christmas, lads.
Happy Christmas, Leon.
Happy Christmas.
We'll be chatting to you soon.
All the best, Phil. Happy Christmas.
Thanks
we'll
very
be
much.
Soon.
Thanks very much, Leon, Stephen, Raf. Very happy Christmas to you. Where's my elf gone?
You, Phil.
He's on your other side.
There he is. Here, look, this is the guy that took a dive. He took a dive off my shoulder beforehand. But that is our lot. As I said, have a great Christmas, and we'll chat to you soon.
Brought to you by the new BoyleSports app. Bet €10 and get a free Now TV Sports mobile month pass, showing exclusive darts and Premier League action.